coverage with your host, Laura Lee and
Manny MUA. Hey guys.
Welcome to our show. Who gave us a show?
Honestly, we gave ourselves the show. That's the thing.
We had to.
We gave ourselves, if we're not giving it, we make it.
No one else gave us a show, so we said, you know what,
We'll give ourselves one.
We'll do our own.
One thing about being an entrepreneur, when you don't get it from somewhere else, you make it.
You just make it yourself.
And we are, if we're one thing, we are entrepreneurs.
It's so true.
Also annoying at times.
Very annoying. And messy and dramatic.
But what is up, you guys? Today we're gonna do a little.
Manny had this great idea, honestly.
I thought it would be a great idea to do a thing where basically we talk about brands that have disappeared from us.
The face of the
R.I.P.
earth.
So the brands that have closed down, and kind of like talking about why they've closed down, or not even necessarily why they closed down, but why we think like that they closed down, or what they could have done better to continuously stay up top, things like that. So I feel like it'd be kind of an interesting episode to talk about brands and what happened to them. Also,
I was on live this morning on TikTok, and I mentioned this episode, and everybody was like, yes, film it. It's like a great idea. So I was like, cool. So then they were like, you guys should also talk about brands that were once so popping and like the talk of the town is all that anyone used, and now you never hear anything from them. You know, they're still around, but it's cricket. So at the end, we can run through some brands that I guess you could just say are less relevant
than they
once were, and why that might be.
I think it's great, or like what they could maybe do to turn it around.
Yeah,
maybe give a little advice at the same time. Be a little, advice givers, just angels.
Unsolicited advice.
This is very much the epitome of unsolicited advice. Yes, because this is just our opinion of what we think as people that are in the industry and have been in for a very long time. Right. Of what we've seen and like as trends come and go and things like that. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting and fun.
I love it. Well, let's start with our picks.
Our picks.
I'm so tired, you guys.
Laura also just got back from Italy, so she's not well mentally.
The jet lag is whooping my ass.
And not even that, you had a very intense week. You have a very intense week happening this week.
And it's only Tuesday.
Girl.
I know. It's a wreck for me.
Laura and I are filming the next 4 days in a row.
Yep.
Have you thought like
we're on camera for 5 days in a row.
Straight.
Boom, 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 boom.
Like doing something, glamming, doing podcast,
multiple podcasts,
doing stuff,
other people's podcasts.
Yes, 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm speaking gibberish at this point. Yeah.
Maybe it's like I feel like Stewie Griffin when he's sucking on the nipple, Peter's nipple, and he's like.
Ty laughing.
Even Ty laughed. But first, of course, peaks and pits first.
You start.
I'm gonna do a pit first.
All right, I'll do a pit too.
My car.
Oh.
You guys, in the last several days, I've been going through the gigs because suddenly, like on Thursday of last week, my car the AC stopped working.
Not the AC.
Baby.
Because it was like 100 degrees.
104.
Yeah.
It has been so hot in the last Thursday. I'm like, you know what? It's not going to be that big deal. I'll just roll down the windows. I'll just drive with it, roll down the windows. When I got to my destination, I was dripping in sweat. Dripping. I
know you were.
I'm like, I cannot make it to anywhere that I need to go in my car because it's so hot. I have a black car. It just attracts the heat. The wind outside is hot. So if I'm driving with hot wind and on a black car, do you know how fucking going crazy I am? Laura, you know me.
You're suffering.
I'm suffering desperately. So now my car... So then on Friday, I was like, we have to make an appointment. So we made an appointment for Friday. I go in on Friday and they're like, hey, like, you just have to keep the car here over the weekend because like we have just no spots for you. So and I was like, okay, like, do you guys have loaners so I can like use for the weekend? They're like, no, we don't have loaners.
They never.
So I'm like, so then I will not leave it here then over the weekend. And like, cause I can still drive it at nighttime.
Yeah, totally.
I was like,
that's what I always tell them whenever we're getting our tires changed, like a windshield crack or any cracked. I'm like, I'll keep the car until you're ready for it because I need a car.
You need the car.
I need the car.
I don't live like in the heart of fucking West Hollywood. Like I live, in the distance. So I have to drive to most places.
Yeah.
So because so I was like, no, I'll keep it. So I was driving it at nighttime and now finally my car is in the shop for the AC. I haven't heard back yet from the shop. I'm like, okay, what's going on with the AC? But I've been having to Uber basically everywhere and it's very annoying.
And very expensive.
And it just keeps piling and piling and piling. And I'm like, okay, like how many more days? Like I would rather just drive my car to a lot of the times to like the place I want to be. Like the other day, I hadn't like worked out in like 4 days because I was like, I'm not driving, like it's too much, too crazy. And I was like, I'm gonna just Uber to the gym just to feel like I can go to it. I know it sounds like such a first world problem, like Ubering to the gym because my car's too hot. So I went and I was like, the fact I had to Uber there, work out, Uber back home, I'm like, I'm not doing this. So like I just need my car.
It was too much.
It really is like you don't realize how much you use your car when you're obviously driving it
until you get taken away.
And you're like, fuck, dude, like I need to like go somewhere and get some shit.
I remember I had needed an oil change from Porsche. They ended up breaking a latch on my car.
Oh.
They keep my car for 7 days. And on day 7, they had no update for me for when I was going to get my car. So I was so nice to the man on the phone. But I was like, I said, I just like laid it out for him. I was like, hey, like, it's hard for you guys to have my car for that long and not give me an update. I said, people really depend on their cars. And I was like, I depend on my car. And like, I was like, a car's a big thing just to keep from someone. So I was like, like an update, like on when I
Uber
might
drivers
get it.
That's literally their livelihood.
Imagine them, their car messes up, So, and I was like, not everyone can like afford to be bumping around in $20 Uber rides every time they need to go to the grocery store or something.
$35 every time.
Because it's in LA.
Like,
they're so expensive in LA.
Me? Every time I go somewhere, it has to be $35.
They're so expensive.
Insane.
And that's like the cheapest Uber.
Yes. That's Uber X. That's Uber Comfort. Like, it's not even like nice.
So I was just like, I was like, just any update I'd really appreciate. And he called me back in an hour and he's like, I got your car ready for you.
Oh.
And I was like, was that because I was nice?
Yes, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
I was, you catch more flies with honey. I was like trying to be, and I even told him on the phone, I was like, listen, I know this is not real. Your fault.
Yes.
Like, I know you're not just like, oh, well, fuck her. Yeah. Like, you're just employed there. Like, and I told him that. I was like, but could you give me anything? like please?
A morsel.
A morsel. And he said, girl, come get your car. So, yeah. I don't know.
I'm currently going through the gigs. It's funny because I told Laura, I was like, Laura, I'm carless right now. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I had Uber here. And she goes, you Ubered here? We could have driven you.
Why would you not tell me to come get you?
I was like, because I don't want to be I don't want to be.
Bitch, I'd be like, you need to come here right now and get me in tight. I'm getting in the back of your car.
Literally, and I'm like, I don't want to be a hassle.
No, I told you I'll take you home though.
But Laura's taking me home after, so I feel that's very sweet. But yeah, that's my current pick because it's honestly I'm going.
That's a doozy.
Not having a car when you are used to having a car. Especially when you live in the valley, it's
LA is
very
an extremely spread out city. We're not like New York. You may see people walking around LA, and that's probably if they live like in Hollywood and live in an apartment, and they're just like going down to the grocery store. But like LA is so spread out. It's not a walkable city, really.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Unless you live in like one little section. You have to have a car
here. Yeah, it's not like New York at all. It's very different. So,
so I'm going to the gigs.
That is gigatry.
And the thing is, I'm trying to drive in the heat. I was like, I'm gonna be strong. I'm not gonna fucking take my car in. Like, stop being a little bitch, Manny. And I did one drive of it in 104-degree weather. And I said, this has to stop. I'm not well.
One time, my mom and I shared a Buick. My grandpa had gotten us a Buick because we didn't have a car. So I didn't have a car either because I was like 17 years old. And she let me borrow her Buick whenever I needed to go somewhere. So we kind of like shared it. And whenever I would go to work and stuff, we'd split it and go back and forth. And I wrecked it into a fire hydrant.
Oh my God.
I did. I sure did. And we didn't like have insurance to cover that. So it broke the AC in the car. And we didn't have AC for like 5 years. In Alabama, swampy
humidity.
And it was my fault. And I never felt more worse about anything I've ever done in my life because I took AC from my mother. From my mistake. And I had obviously not a penny to my name to fix it.
Of course.
No, there was no way. And the front of our car looked like this. It was like a heart. Tyler witnessed all this. He was with me. Because I actually, Ty, I didn't date you yet, did I? No. Shortly after, because I remember I didn't date him until I was 19. I think this happened between like 17, 18-ish.
Yes.
So my biggest regret in life, it wasn't even the AC, it was the fact I did it to my mom.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It was like
her only car that my grandpa gave us. So I was like, fuck.
Dude, and like that heat in the South?
Oh, that's Florida.
I bet during the summer
that's like Alabama, Florida weather.
Brutal.
It's absolutely brutal. And it took the fucking AC, but the heat worked.
Fuck the heat.
I know.
You're in the South.
I know, right?
You need this AC.
Right? It was horrible. horrible. It was so
Like,
horrible. I remember I went to take my graduations pictures and I had to drive that car. And by the time I got there, I was so upset because everything
Dripping.
was just like, I was soaked from head
Like,
to
it
toe.
sucks. Like, it literally just genuinely sucks, like, to have no AC in
It's
your
rough.
car. Like, it just sucks. Like,
It's rough.
not a fun thing.
It is not a fun thing.
Ugh.
I have a AC car trauma that I live with. I'm like, my mom's in heaven right now. I'm like, sorry, mom.
She's literally looking at you,
I'm
she's
still
like-
sorry. I'm still regret
she's like, I
that
still
so
remember that
bad. I would
shit.
take it back from anything. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Yeah.
She's like, damn you.
So, anyways, okay,
What's your
well,
pet?
my pet's a little bit different. So, sorry, we're still talking about Italy 2 weeks later, but I'm just talking about the jet lag. Like the jet lag,
Oh.
I've never gone to another country for that many days, so
Yeah.
I've never settled in that much with the jet
Oh,
lag. You know
yeah,
what I
you're
mean?
right, yeah.
Like I'm more so delusional over there, and when I get home, I'm fine.
You're fine.
But now this time, I settled in over there for so long, I got used to there, and I started
Time.
to get worried whenever I was over there because I
You're
was
like,
starting to go to bed just fine and wake
I'm
up.
getting acclimated. I'm
Yes,
scared.
and I was like, I don't want to do this because when I get home, I know it's going to be so bad, and it is so
And it is
bad.
bad.
It's so bad, you guys. I go to bed at 9 o'clock every night. Like I
But
cannot.
that's not like,
and I'm like, no, it gets
obscene
worse.
for you.
But I get up at 3 a.m. Every morning. I've been getting up at 3 a.m. and I just lay there. And Titus too. We're both wide awake, and I just lay there until about 5:30. I'll get up. Because I can't. I got up at 5:30 this morning. He did too. In the past morning too. We can't sleep.
that's
I am
horrific.
so tired right now. I could jump out that window to take a nap.
And literally fly.
Fly and fly.
And literally
fly.
fly. with
I
how
am
crazy
so
it is.
tired, but it gets crazier, Manny.
No.
So I didn't realize, like with jet lag, this thing happens where your body gets regulated in using the bathroom during the day. And so at like, I don't know what time it was, middle of the night, I pissed all over myself in the bed while I was sleeping. I peed the bed.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I have not done that in like 20 years or maybe less. I don't know.
So are you telling me, so are you guys, I didn't know this, so I'm gagged. Are you telling me that you pissed the bed
I
and
did.
Tyler felt the piss?
He didn't feel it because we have a king and very spread out. We're very spread out. But
But what if you were laying,
we
next
don't
to him and you
cuddle.
pissed?
We don't cuddle.
well, of course not. Like you can like start off cuddling and then like get the fuck away
Yeah,
from me.
exactly.
don't touch me. Like,
it's
when
like
it's too hot, like,
when it's time
get-
to go to bed.
Like, okay,
I need
don't touch me.
Get the fuck away from
But
me.
like in the beginning, it's cute to be like a little like a little hand hold.
we go to sleep like this, and then
That's how I would be. 1,000. I was like, I would love the idea of it, but in practice, don't fucking
it's too
touch
hot
me.
and like it ain't realistic.
It's not
to
realistic.
sleep.
It's not sleepable.
I can't be touched.
Mm-mm.
So I
So did you
pissed
wake
the
up
bed. I did wake up peeing all over myself.
warm? You woke up warm.
Warm in a puddle. And
No.
yeah, I was pissed. And I literally told
You
Ty.
literally pissed.
I,
You really?
I was pissed that I pissed.
I was pissed.
I said, oh my God, why did this happen? Like, I didn't even drink like a crazy amount of
Yeah,
water. And
yeah.
he goes, it's the jet lag. You're used to peeing at this time, so your body is peeing. And I was
That's
like,
so weird. I've never heard that before.
Me either.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I was like, that's absolutely insane. And so I was so tired. I don't know what time it happened because I didn't look at my phone or anything. I just
Yeah.
ran to the bathroom, peed, changed clothes, and then I put my airport blankie on top of the pee and then slept on top of that. Because I was
You
like,
sandwiched it. You're too
I
tired.
sandwiched it. I was so tired when it happened. I was like deadly. I didn't even think I opened my eyes. I remember, and I just put pressure on the blankie. I was like, is it gonna leak through? No,
we're good.
We're good. And I went back to sleep on top of my pee.
And you didn't even change the sheets.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Let the sheets fucking literally
If that don't tell you how
sit.
tired I am at this point,
Nothing will.
nothing will. I
Nothing
slept
will.
on my own piss. I just couldn't do it. And then when I woke up at 5:30, I put them all in the wash. But I was like, dadgummit, do you know how much bedding that is to wash?
Oh, dude, washing your bedding? Washing your fucking
It's deadly.
bedding
It's deadly.
is the literal worst because that
It
shit
is.
takes forever to dry.
It does. It does.
It's like you literally just put one thing and it's like that's the whole load and you're like, well, here we are. Like I have a fucking load in here.
I cannot believe I did that though. I'm honestly shocked.
I'm actually shocked too. I haven't pissed the bed in literally 25 years.
Right.
I don't even know if I even ever have pissed the bed.
Right.
I've had like literally 2 wet dreams my whole life.
Wow.
Like I'm just not the type that will do things in the middle of the night. Like when I'm sleeping, my body will
Golly.
always wake me up.
I was in such a deep sleep too. I don't like even remember like a dream or anything like attached to it. Like I was so dead asleep when it happened.
You were like, you're a goner.
Goner. And it took me a minute to like come back to reality and realize what happened. Like I wasn't instantly like, it like took me a minute to, I was like, did I just pee all over myself in this bed?
That is wild.
Isn't that a little crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I've woken up where like I had literally like had a wet dream. And I woke up and I was like, what is going on down there? Like, why am I like sticky? Like, why am I wet? Like, I feel like that's very much that situation in a different capacity where I was like, why is this happening? And I woke up after and I was like, this was so stupid. I didn't even enjoy it, dude. Like, it was literally in the middle of my sleep and I had to change.
Literally.
It's ridiculous.
Well, me either.
Like, neither of us got to enjoy. You didn't get to enjoy your piss. Me with my wet dream. It was horrible. Not horrible. Sleep stuff.
So hopefully tonight
Let me look up my
I don't piss all over myself.
Let me look up my peak.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What is my peak of the week? Do you know what? I just watched a movie the other day and it was like, I thought it was so funny that I wanted to tell you. It's called Bottoms.
Oh.
Have you seen the preview of that at all?
I haven't.
So it's called Bottoms. Like that honestly was my peak because I thought it was so freaking funny. I watched it and it's about these like two girls in high school that are both like lesbians and they are like kind of like nerds, like they're like not like the cool girls at all. They're just like very like outcasty, and they create a all girls fight club in the high school, but they call it like a self defense club because they want to be like cool and they like have like so then like all the girls like kind of like join and it becomes like this full like the girls that they have crushes on like join and they're like the cool girls, very that, and it's kind of like a coming of age.
That's
movie.
So cute.
That's really funny, and it's really like the things that they wrote in it were just like so ridiculous. I haven't heard things like that in a movie, and I'm like. In a long time, almost like old school humor that's like almost not appropriate, where it's like they were funny as fuck in the 90s and the early 2000s, where now if you see that, you're like,
it doesn't age well.
Yeah, it doesn't age as well. That was kind of how the humor was in this.
Oh my god!
Where I was like, I can't believe they just said that.
Wow.
But the whole theater is like cracking up because it's funny, but it was just very like kind of like, whoa, like this is insane. But it was very ridiculous. It was really funny. I was like, I have to tell Laura about it. I have to tell you guys about it. If you want to see like a funny movie, like coming of age, women's high school fight club, Bottoms.
Go see it.
Go see it.
It's in theaters?
It's in theaters. It just came out in theaters. And honestly, it's been really busy. Like I was trying to see it the week before because I want to see a movie by myself. This one I didn't watch by myself, but I've been on a mission. I'm like, I'm gonna go to movies by myself. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be cool. I haven't done it yet, but I will get there eventually. And so it's been like really packed, but finally I was able to go see it and it was fucking hilarious.
Oh my god!
I'm a big movie guy. Like I love going to movies. So even like as a peak, I'm just like, I can go to the movies.
I love that. That's a good peak.
It's like fun. Peak. Like I love it doing it. I started playing a new video game. I've just been doing nerdy things while Laura's gone.
Good for you. That's like my happy stuff though.
Me too. It's like I'm happy doing it.
Coloring, doing puzzles, doing my little fuse beads, watching a TV show. Like that's like my happy place. Like that's whenever I find the most joy out of life. Like
it's
truly.
It's nice to unwind. Like I feel very unwinded when I get to go to the movies or I get to play a video game. I'm not on my phone. Like I'm literally so checked out because I'm focused on what's going on.
Do you want to know what so since I was gone to Italy for a week, every end of the week it updates me on my average screen time that week?
Yes.
Do you want to know what my screen time was while I was in Italy?
What?
An hour and 20 minutes a day.
No.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
That's amazing.
On the plane, I literally tapped Ty's shoulder and showed him because I was so shocked. Yeah.
You were just living.
I was living. I was truly living. Like
out of your phone.
And like I used my content phone to get content. I wasn't even on my phone. Like, you know what I mean? Like just being on it. I just like would truly like not on my phone at all.
My screen time last week was horrific.
Tell it.
It was horrible.
Expose yourself.
But the thing is, in my defense, I have a crush on a guy. So.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah.
God damn it! You're still talking to him?
Well, much less.
Okay.
Much less, but like that newly started. The like much less thing has more of a newly started.
Okay.
I still was talking to him a lot last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Well, to be fair, I was out of town.
Exactly,
so.
And honestly, I was lonely.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? I need
normally,
attention.
me and Manny keep each other very occupied. We do.
No, but so I was like, I was just kind of bored. So I was just kind of like talking to more people than usual anyway. But my screen time was 8 hours and 45 minutes a day was my average.
I don't know if I've ever had that high.
I don't think I've ever had that high ever.
It's a record. That's a record.
That's a record for me.
That's like her normal.
It's because I'm a high schooler.
You're a high schooler.
Fucking college student.
God damn.
It's because I'm so young. I'm still like as if I'm in high school.
You are.
I look like I should be in college.
You should be. That is crazy.
It was a record high for me. I've never been on it like that long, but I remember thinking like,
you need to go to Italy.
That's a little shocking for me.
I think you need to book a single trip to Italy. Like just
a me
go.
trip. I've always like also wanted to do like a single trip. I've been like, I'm really trying to do things more like independently, like go to movies by myself, and like I've gone and eaten by myself and stuff like that. And like I want to be comfortable doing things. And the idea of traveling by myself, like it scares me so much. But I think that would be very like therapeutic in a way as well. But I'm scared of that.
You could do like an easier trip too.
And that way. Italy. I don't think I could go to
that's like crazy. Maybe go to Palm Springs.
Yeah, something like super chill, or
drive
Hawaii.
Down there. Oh, Hawaii.
You know, like doing something like chill by myself. I feel like it'd be really therapeutic.
I think so too.
You know, maybe I'll do it.
Well, my peak this week is, I meant to mention this weeks ago, and because we pre-film, I just didn't line the dates up. But anyways, we launched a bath line with Minimum LA, and I talked about this forever on the podcast. Do you remember? I was like, oh my God, we have something coming.
Yes,
like,
this was the thing, you guys.
This was really the thing.
Finally, and the same thing when I was telling you, I was like, dude, it smells so fucking good.
Do you know what's so crazy? So we actually completely developed the body line. We have with Minimum LA, we have a new body wash, we have a new body moisturizer, and a new body scrub. It's like a trio set. You can get it as a bundle. And we were originally supposed to come out with that first, but we did the body because we created that first. And that came into our warehouse first and was ready to go. But we were also creating, not at the same time, but after we finished like the production, like not the production, but the creation of that for it to go into production, we started on the body oil. And the body oil was finished. So I was like, we have to launch the body oil first for summer.
Because it's summertime, you have to do it.
Because it makes the most sense. I was like, we can't just launch this body line and then a week later throw in the body oil. I was like, I worked too fucking hard to like lump these together.
Exactly.
And, like these projects were way too expensive for that. I mean, that to be honest as well, just to like throw them in together. So we've officially launched our body line. We have the body scrub, we have the body moisturizer, and the body wash is vanilla coconut scent. It doesn't just smell like vanilla. It's not just like this.
No, it's stunning,
basic vanilla.
It's like the beach.
Yeah.
To me, it gives me like beach vibes.
It's the coconut.
It's the coconut, but also like I love vanilla in that aspect. So I love a vanilla coconut.
Oh, it's delicious.
Fragrance. It's beachy but warm, like a warm beach, like a very like
if you guys want to see it in action, I use it in my vlog channel on I believe it's my birthday vlog that I use it. I did like a little shower routine. I'm going to be doing some stuff on my main channel with it, of course, but I'm so excited about it. The scrub is better if you want like a more intense scrub, use it on like dry skin. Like whenever you get in the shower and you're not soaked yet, you could use it for a more intense scrub and then wash it off. But if you want a little less, it does lather up too, but if you want a little less intensive exfoliant, then get wet first and then use it, and it just leaves you smelling so yummy. And then the body wash is like gel based, so it's like a gel. It gets really foamy too.
I love a foamy.
It's a good foamy body wash. And then we have the body moisturizer for whenever you get out of the shower to lather up in. It's so good.
I love the moisturizer. I've used everything so far, but the moisturizer I really like a lot because it melts in really fast. Like and it doesn't make you feel greasy. Like it feels like such a good, lightweight, heavy duty moisturizing body cream.
Thank you. You have a discount code.
I sure do. Use code Manny MUA.
You guys can save money.
Not on bundles.
Not on bundles. That always throws people for a loop on both our site.
Because the same with mine, like you cannot use my affiliates on bundles because it's like the discounts are way too high for it to even work. But on individuals, you can definitely use my code on Minimum LA and use Laura's code on Lunar Beauty. Yeah, please. It's cool. I love the little cross like promotion. It's so cute. But you guys, they are slay. They really are fucking incredible. And like you honestly slayed the body line. Thank you. Do you ever get nervous creating SKUs that you haven't created before? Yes, because they always, like every time I've done this in makeup as well, anytime you do something that you haven't done before, it moves slower. Yeah, of course. Because people aren't accustomed to it. And they don't know if they can trust it. Yeah, they don't know if they trust it yet. So it's something you have to work way harder at. Like, for instance, if we come out with an eyeshadow palette or a liquid lipstick, a gloss, it's a no-brainer. It's going to move. But like if we get tricky with it, come out with powders or just like anything, right? That's different that you haven't really done before, it always moves slower because people had to get accustomed to it. They had to start, investigating reviews. It's really important for the trust. Check out what other people think about it, like see other people use it. Like you got to build their trust on it. So I knew this going into this body line, like it was new for us, but over time our body oil has moved beautifully. Oh, I love it.
which I know I feel like I haven't even had time to like talk about our, the scrub and the lotion.
You haven't because you've been gone and you've been so busy.
Exactly. So I even took like the full set with me to Italy, and for the boat day, we literally brought it on the boat with us. And our boat driver was so cute. He was only 29, was a young guy. His name was Fernando. And we showed it to him because he was like, we were like taking pictures. He was like, what is that? We're like, this is our brand. Da, da, da. And he literally was like, let me drive you to the most iconic rocks and you guys should take pictures of it there. Like he even drove us to a certain spot to take brand photos, and we gave him all of it because we have it. Right. We just took it for content.
Yes.
And he has a girlfriend since high school.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know. So we said, give it to her. We're like, give it to her. So she's girl in Italy. She's got the minimale, honey. So I love it. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited to get to talk to you guys about it. I know Full Fam has supported my brand so much, and I appreciate that. So.
They're the best. Like honestly, you guys, to see your guys' support on both our brands, it's like actually insane and crazy, and we feel so blessed.
We do,
and so happy about it. So thank you from the bottom of our heart. And like even when they supported like the Full Fantasy collection, like
oh yeah,
y'all like really fucking slayed for us, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's starting also to get to a low stock.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
baby, we are. It's dwindling.
Yep, it's dwindling.
It is
down.
dwindling down. So it's like, okay, well, that once that's gone, it's gone.
Yep, that's that. So,
but it's been amazing. We love you guys.
We love you guys. Thank you. And now we'll jump in. So let's talk about some of these makeup brands.
Let's dive in.
Thank you to Smalls for sponsoring this portion of Full Coverage. I've been looking for a much, much healthier cat food for my cats, but something maybe they would still like. And I think I found it with Smalls cat food. Smalls actually started back in 2017 by a couple guys at home that would cook their cat food in small batches. And today, Smalls has served millions of meals to all cats across America.
Smalls cat food is actually protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients you'd find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your doorstep, which is amazing, especially if you have cats. Laura has cats.
It's so easy.
It's genius.
After making the switch to Small, 78% of cat owners reported their cats had shinier, softer fur, and 90% reported their overall health had improvements. That is such a big deal.
I absolutely love that so much. I think it's amazing that there's like a healthy version of the cat food that's not just like kibble. It's not just hard little pebbles. So I think it's really, really cool that they have this.
You can also try it risk-free. That means they'll refund you if your cat will not eat their food. So remember, higher quality ingredients means a healthier and happier life for your kitty. So head to smalls.com/full and use promo code FULL at checkout for 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use our code. It's FULL for 50% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code FULL for 50% off your first order plus free shipping.
This episode of Full Coverage is sponsored by ZocDoc. You guys, ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online that literally are just going to be absolutely incredible for whatever you might potentially need. And doctors that will actually get you, that will actually listen to you and make you feel super, super comfortable, and that will accept your insurance. Have you ever find someone like a doctor that you love and you're obsessed with them, but don't take your insurance, and you're like, girl, I can't be paying out of this out of pocket? ZocDoc takes that out of the equation. I'm a huge fan of ZocDoc because it just makes it so easy to actually book and find doctors around there. I used it before. I think it's absolutely amazing.
We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones that take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for. The average wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between 24 and 48 hours. That's it. You can even score some in the same day.
Go to ZocDoc.com/fool and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/fool, ZocDoc.com/fool. Okay, so let's get into this. So we're going to do a little deep dive on each brand of like what we think could have gone awry, what could have gone down. This is obviously all of our speculation, all our opinion. This is just like it's our podcast. Like we're just going to say what we personally think, what could have gone down. But the first one we have is Becca
Cosmetics. Initially, when they did announce their closing, I was surprised.
I was gagged.
Like I wasn't like, well, I could see it. I wasn't.
Honestly, Becca has been such a staple, iconic brand for so long in Sephora and so many aspects that I was like honestly really surprised.
They have investors, right? Like they were a bought brand.
Yes, they were not just like singularly themselves.
Okay.
But the thing is with Becca, I felt like their main shining thing was their highlighters.
Champagne Pop.
Well, and honestly, to be honest, Champagne Pop. Opal was amazing.
That's the
Moonstone.
reason Jacqueline collabed with them because she used their highlighters, and like everybody used. They have Moonstone and Opal.
So many
everybody used
and they were
the highlighter. So then, when it came time for them to work with an influencer, they created a highlighter collection.
And I feel like that, like obviously, Champagne Pop was so big, and it became like this massive selling highlighter, and Sephora was like one of their top selling things, and Becca obviously was like riding that wave for as long as they could, and they kept trying to do champagne things like liquid champagne pop, champagne pop highlighter, Prosecco pop, duos. Like they started doing all these things to like really run Champagne Pop into the ground. And I think that because they focused so much on that, I feel like it kind of took away from their branding on everything else.
Like people didn't trust anything else for the brand because it seemed like that's all the brand cared about. I remember there was even like liquid highlighters and primers and like everything was Champagne Pop.
And the thing is, they had so many good products that were really good quality, but I think because they focused so much on that, it took away from their brand identity.
I remember they also came out with a lot of weird products at that time after Champagne Pop. I remember there was like a wet aqua powder. What was it? The primer.
The girl that was clear.
The clear.
They came out with just like things that were
risky
that were supposed to be, you know, innovative, and that was like kind of the point.
Yeah.
But sometimes innovation can really lead into mess.
Yeah.
And I think that when they came out with the like no color foundation.
That's what it was.
Zero color foundation.
It was
Diva.
really just them.
A primer.
It was a primer, and they wanted to call it something quirky to get people's attention, and it did, but it just got all such horrible reviews, and it was like the wet powder to set your makeup.
The wet powder was horrific. It was one of my least favorite products I've ever used. It literally oxidized you so horribly.
It like hurt the brand's reputation, I feel.
I think so too. I think that a lot of those things happen. I think that so as time with that, like when you start to lose that kind of brand trust, I think that's a huge part of why brands can go under and why things can happen with brands is that once the brand trust is lost and you lose that consumer base, then it's like, well, what's the point? Like if you're not creating products that are actually good, actually worth it, something that you can actually feel like they put their time into,
right?
Why buy from them?
Yeah.
You know, and they had staple things that were incredible, like the under eye brighteners. And let's talk about how the fact that Smashbox actually took some of their products under their wing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can like Smashbox had taken over some of Becca's stuff. Like you can literally get like through Smashbox's website, you can get Becca stuff.
What?
And on the Smashbox gondola, you can see like
that means
Becca
they're
under eye
owned by the
brighteners.
same company.
You think it's an Estee thing?
It's an Estee thing.
I think
that's an
Smashbox is owned by
Estee thing.
But yeah, Smashbox has taken over some of like the Becca things, and they're now under like the Smashbox umbrella, like
which
the under eye brightener.
Should bring us to Estee Edit.
Estee Edit. Going right into Estee
Kendall
Edit.
Jenner was the face of that brand.
She was the face of it. There's like another face of it too, but Kendall was like the most prominent face of it. The thing with Estee Edit, I think that they were trying to be like the young Estee Lauder. To me, like their whole point of that was trying to be the young version of what Estee Lauder is. But the thing is, it looked not really well done.
Also,
and
Kendall
incomplete.
Jenner, you pick someone, yes, very influential, yes, very popular, but has nothing to do with makeup.
And also, like, no one really knows anything or care about her like that.
Not like that. Not like that. Now, if Kylie was the face of it, I think it would have been much different because she was like known for a makeup girly, being a glam girl and like the full beat. So I think it would have made a lot more sense. Whereas like this was just like a model being the face of something.
Yes,
like
a popular model.
It wasn't influential to get people to buy the product. And I remember their color stories were always very chaotic and bright because they were trying to reach that younger audience. But really, even in 2016, you had to have a mixture where there was like pops of color, but there also had to be wearable stuff in there too.
It also just didn't make a lot of sense when you had Estee Edit, like this branch off of a humongous conglomerate like Estee Lauder, and the Estee Edit branch off is like this like blue and silver packaging, and it just like didn't really flow. And I remember there was like this one palette that came out that had like they were like highlighters, but like they were zigzag inside the packaging, and I was like, what is going on?
So not
had, like,
user
these,
friendly.
Like, it wasn't like very user friendly. It wasn't very interesting to really see and seek out. Like they could have done so much more with it, but I don't think that a lot of times, in my opinion, if you are a brand that creates a sub brand for the younger audience, it doesn't like work a lot of the times.
A lot of the times it doesn't work.
Glossier Play,
Morphe 2. Estee Edit.
Like I just don't think that it really is the best move to try to use that likeness that you already have, that branding that you already have, to create a sub brand of it, to be like, oh, well, this is our young version of it. It's like, girl, or just have the company create a whole new brand that's just young.
Call it something else.
Call it completely different. Why even attach it to you?
Yeah.
Like, why attach it? Like, there's no point, because honestly, all those brands have low-key been fails and flops.
Wow, I feel like sub brands is not a good thing.
Not if it's anything after your own name. Because what's the point? Why not just come out with your own thing and have a different line of it?
Like, makes more sense.
Like the Hangover RX line from Too Faced.
Oh yeah.
The Soleil line from Too Faced. Like, that's still part of Too Faced, but they're different entities.
And it's like still under
Benefit, the professional line.
Norvina under ABH.
Another example. Where's that at? Where's Norvina
Actually,
at?
that is a great question.
I think.
Do they still do the Norvina line?
I don't think so. I haven't seen Norvina stuff in a long time. That could be another one that's like, again, some brand that's not there anymore.
You're so right.
That's kind of wild, actually. You're so freaking right. Norvina stuff. I haven't seen that. But the products were really good. But
let's talk a little bit about the next one on the list is Makeup Geek. Now, I have a question. Is Makeup Geek officially not a brand anymore?
Makeup Geek Cosmetics is no longer, like, they do not do makeup anymore. Period.
Okay.
They're not. Obviously, I have a special place in my heart with Makeup Geek. I did a collaboration with Makeup Geek with Marlena, and it was like a very successful collaboration. It's still like something that people tag me in to this day of our palette, and it was such a wonderful experience, and I loved it. I loved doing the collaboration. So the whole thing with Makeup Geek, Marlena Stell had a very successful YouTube channel. Yep. She had a brand, and she was one of the first
ever
influencer
to create a makeup brand.
That had a brand, and it was so successful and so well done, and the products slayed, and it was really nice to see an influencer that had products that were really good.
Yeah, and it was cool because it was like an influencer that would work with influencers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like an influencer having influencers' backs, because the thing is, all her products were affiliated, and me, including everyone, it was kind of like Morphe in the way. Yeah, everybody was affiliated with Makeup Geek, and her stuff sold incredibly well.
And the thing is, like, the products are really, really well made. So like, people actually loved Makeup Geek, and they liked their product and their quality. She did a collaboration with me. She did a collaboration with Kathleen Lights. They did a highlighter palette together. That was very successful. I think that when you start to get into the trajectory of what could have, I don't know necessarily went wrong, but I think the collaboration that fell through with Jacqueline did play a big part in things kind of going awry for Makeup Geek in some capacity, because if things were ordered, that's like, as Marlena says, like, things were ordered and things had already been happened. And, that's a bit, how a PO works. Maybe you know exactly how a PO, a product order goes, a PO placement, like, you have to pay all that stuff money, like at least like half of it up front for all the products, everything to be made for the raws for it.
And then you have to pay the other half for it to be delivered.
Yeah. Once it's already done. You
have to pay it in full before it can launch.
So you guys, do you know how fucking hard that is as an indie brand?
Yeah.
To pay that kind of money. So I think that when that happened, they lost a lot of money on it. The collaboration never ended up happening. And I think that, that Marlena did the best that she could to recover and sell like those shades individually or in palettes or whatever it might be. But I think that from there, that was a very hard thing for them to potentially recover from. And then on COVID on top of it.
Yeah.
So I think that plus COVID, plus just in general, like branding, potential marketing, just like not being what they wanted it to be, is what started to like have the downslope of Makeup Geek.
I did not realize they were no longer a brand at all, period.
Well, she's like, Marlena's like, she's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
She will always, like, she will make something happen. She will get a job. Like, she will not get a job. She will make a brand.
Yeah.
And she will do something with it. Like, she was always that person. So she's definitely working on her own things, separate projects, separate brands. And she, I think, has a new brand and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know a ton about it. Me and Marlene obviously aren't as close as we once were. But, from a distance, I'm always like, oh, just checking in, seeing how she's doing. Everything's going good.
Love that.
But yeah, no, like, I think that was a big thing, especially COVID. Like, dude, like a lot of brands I feel like really got wrecked.
Isn't that when Becca? I think it might be when Becca. Like it was when Becca shut down with COVID.
I think you're right. Actually,
it was.
I think a lot of brands,
and they said it was because of COVID.
A lot of them felt the heat from that. So I think that was like a big part of it, but also like now the collaboration and things like that had transpired. But yeah, overall that was Geek was great. They had such great product.
Yeah,
that's a missed one.
That definitely
Great eyeliners, great brown.
They were in
everything.
Target for a little bit too. I remember seeing.
Do you think that could also be a big reason why? Because when you're in a big store like that,
they can crush it.
They can crush
brand.
you.
I don't know what it's like working with Target,
Same.
like in that capacity.
Same.
But I know that
I did see them in Target too.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was like pretty excited to see them in there because they have had really good quality products.
Mm-hmm.
Our next one on the list is BH Cosmetics. Personally, what I think shut them down is Morphe.
Oh my God, I think you're right.
Morphe literally was the same brand. They just worked with influencers at a better capacity, and I think they wiped them out of the game. And then I think BH Cosmetics dumped a ton of money into collabs with, I think Doja Cat was one.
They don't actually collabs with tons of people.
With tons of people, but these big celebrities.
Daisy Marquez.
And I think they had to cut these massive checks to these celebrities. Because it wasn't Iggy, it was like Doja and a few more celebrities. It was Iggy, was it? Mm-hmm. So like there was like, and I know that these were like one-offs where they were probably cutting them like $1 million checks to use
something
their
crazy.
crazy. And I know those collections didn't do anything because I did not see or hear a word about it. And I think it crushed them. I think
so too. I think they were trying to do the thing where like, they see the brands collab and they see all these things and they're like, oh my God, look at these collaborations, helping the brands kind of get out there more because the celebrity's posting it or something's going on. But I didn't really even see like the celebrities endorsing.
The celebrities didn't endorse it because the problem is they cut them fat checks. And so the celebrities were like, yeah, you get to use my name and face, but I'm not going to sit here and do tutorials and you're not going to see me using it and wearing it and promoting it. I got the check for you using my face.
Exactly.
So then the brand doesn't actually get any promotion because it's not enough just to throw somebody's face on a product. It's not anymore. You can't do that. The person has to actually endorse the product.
Endorse it, and also they have to have their own like connection with their audience in some capacity. Like remember when I saw the Doja Cat collection come out, I literally was like, "This is the collection."
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, I was very confused. It did not seem like Doja Cat vibes to me whatsoever. I was very surprised, and I was like, I feel like this is more so for her, more of a cash grab, and for BH just to be like, "Oh, look what we're working with Doja Cat."
I feel like they got pummeled by Morphe. They tried to make a comeback by actually collabing with really relevant people that had big numbers, big followings, but they probably paid them a lump sum versus making them work off royalty. And honey, when you do collabs like me and Manny have, where you work off the palettes you sell, like you make money off what you sell versus just here's a cut a check. You sell that product differently.
You sell it.
And celebrities are never going to do that because they don't have to.
They don't care.
They're never going to just be like, oh yeah, I'll take royalty. They won't. They want the check. They want the fact check, and then they don't want anything to do with it because it's easier. That's way easier.
They probably have their obligations. They're like, okay, I have to post my 2 times.
Yep.
My 2 little posts I have to post, and then that's it. So I think that when you, like BH, for example, when that happened, I think that I also feel like they didn't evolve.
Yeah.
BH in general, like I feel like they didn't really give me evolution vibes. Like we're gonna evolve with the brand, evolve with the times. Didn't get that vibes from them whatsoever. But I think that when you shovel out this much money to do these big big collaborations, but not make enough in return, that's how a brand gets destroyed.
It is.
And
it's
like
a risk.
obviously
it's a big risk.
And sadly the risk like for BH didn't pay off in that moment because they were not getting the return that. Because the thing is, if the collabs were super successful, they'd still be here.
Yeah.
If they made them crazy money that they expected.
It was like one of those things that made or break them. It's like going to make them or break them, and it broke them. I believe it did anyways.
So do I. This is our conspiracy, by the way. Again, alleged.
Clarisonic.
That one gagged me when they went out of business.
Clarisonic had been around for how long? Like, dude, that one had a long run.
A gazillion years.
Clarisonic,
you guys, was a brand that had like these facial cleansers. But do you know what I think it was? More brands started coming out with facial cleansers.
That's for way cheaper.
Like the Michael Todd one.
It was like $130 for one. Oh my God. And so you could go on Amazon and get the exact same thing for $20.
I literally think that that's what it was. So like obviously like I've felt the other cleansers in comparison to Clarisonic. Clarisonic still was like my favorite one because it was more of a sonic pulse rather than like a swishing ball. But when you had all these other brands that came out with things that essentially kind of did something similar for a fraction of the cost, people are gonna start to buy those things, especially when you don't have coin like that.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't spend like $100. I don't know. Actually, I probably would. I'm like, well,
I've definitely when I worked there, I bought them.
I've definitely spent high dollar, but you know, if you don't have, and the amount of people that don't have $150 to buy spend on a face brush, they're obviously going to go towards
the $20
one that ships in 2 days on Amazon. You know what I mean? There's a gnat in here, and it keeps circulating.
It's circling me. I saw circling you earlier, dude.
It's literally going like this all around your head in circles.
Like it's gonna fucking be caught in the fucking camera.
It's driving me crazy because I look at you.
Tell me, so I can be like,
oh, it's just like behind your head, just going.
This fucking gnat, dude.
I know. Me. It's probably gonna get me soon.
Do you know what I think too? Like with Clarisonic, you had to continuously buy the brush heads.
Oh,
and that was an extra
true.
$25 every brush head that you would buy. So it's like it's not like that's something you had to keep really investing in for it to continuously work the way it was supposed to.
You remember the brand Vanity Planet?
Yes.
Girl, I think they wiped out, and Michael Todd.
That's what I'm saying. Michael Todd and Vanity Planet. I think they wiped out Clarisonic. Because those became, and the thing is, those brands started working with influencers and giving them codes. And
Clarisonic didn't.
They sent them sometimes. They would send them out, but they were stingy in the way of like they didn't work with no influencers.
You have two choices: evolve or die. As a brand, you have two choices.
And that is just what it is.
And they did not evolve.
And they didn't evolve.
They should have said, okay, our brushes are being duped. Let's create new skincare products that aren't out yet. New skincare tools that aren't out yet.
What they should have done is created a version that was way inexpensive, a $50 version.
Yeah, and combated it. Well, no one would have ever bought the $150 version again.
But then look at the brands not here anymore.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like it could have been worth
created new tools that other brands didn't have, and then dropped the price.
Really dived into the new tools, like a facial steamer, like those ones. Clarisonic could have created one of those. They could have done so much.
Yep.
They could have created. They did have a cleanser. Like they were coming out with skincare products around it, but like skincare products around Clarisonic were not it. No. That wasn't their strong selling point. No, it was the
damn spin brush.
It was a fucking spin brush. The pulsing
the $100 pulsing
and I worked at Sephora and I would sell Clarisonic.
Well, they were so sought after for a while.
They were the thing.
They were the thing. You got it. You got it right there. It's on your pinky. It had to die.
Sick. But what if that was a mosquito?
That was a gnat. I see. Ew. I know mosquitoes.
Laura, I literally just crushed the mosquito. Okay, what's our next one?
Item Beauty.
R.I.P.
I feel like that one was a choice because I feel like that brand actually did so good in Sephora. Like, I think Addison went through that drama with her family. She got offline.
I do too.
And I think she was like...
I feel like with Item though, like every time I would see it in Sephora, like I didn't see things sold out.
Their glosses, everybody and their freaking mom were using.
Loved the oils. They loved the lip oils. But the thing is, what about all the other products? What about the concealer? Did you use a concealer? Did you use the blushes? Like
blushes were good.
Blushes were good, but did you constantly use them? Like, or is it a brand that you went to for a product other than the lip oils?
I feel like if Addison had stayed online, because she walked away from it all after her family's drama. I feel like if she would have stayed online and kept creating product and kept really endorsing it and pushing it,
kept going.
I think it could have kept going.
Also, Item Beauty is Addison Rae's was her brand, but the thing is, she didn't do it. It was Ipsy.
Ipsy did the brand.
Who created Item Beauty, and so that was kind of it was one of their umbrella brands. Like it was underneath them, and so it was in Sephora. Like it was doing good.
It was.
But I think that because when the face of the brand
goes away,
is no longer really talking about the brand, then it's gonna start to sink.
Yeah. That is a double-edged sword when it comes to working with influencers, which normally there's a contractual thing where, you have to.
Absolutely. But she literally didn't give a fuck. No. After what happened with her family, the trauma that she had to deal with her parents.
Which I'm curious as to where that's at now.
I want to know as well, actually. Now that we're talking about
what is her crazy ass dad doing?
What I want to know is about the dad, because I know that recently Addison went to Hawaii with her mom and with the family. So I know the mom relationship is still great.
That's
great. I haven't seen Addison once with her dad.
Girl.
Honestly, who would want to be around
He's probably out in the streets. He's in the streets.
He's literally in the fucking streets right now. On OF.
He gives me gross vibes.
He gives me such
gross vibes.
Such gross vibes. It actually is
God
shocking.
Bless her for that. Because listen, I didn't have the greatest relationship with my father, but I can tell you this: thank God it wasn't strode across the internet, just stringed across the internet. Because Jesus, I
bless
can't
her
even
freaking heart, dude.
Bless this woman.
And bless you, Sherry,
bless
as well,
her.
Live for Miss Sherry.
Because she don't deserve that.
None of them deserve that. Was insanity.
None of them deserve that.
I agree. I think that was a huge reason as to why Item kind of tanked, because Addison was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
To the brand.
Next is Dragon Beauty.
I feel the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's the exact same thing. Because Nikita had that brand going for a minute. Like she had some strong products. Like everybody was using her under eye powders.
Baby, the heart powders.
Everyone and their mom. And then I had a lip liner from them. They were so every day. They were so big. Mm-hmm. I used every day. So Nikita had some really big, strong product. I think it was like
the color correctors.
Oh. Everyone.
That was like iconic.
And honestly, I was like, will color correctors do good? And they did so good.
They slayed.
Anyone that was using a color corrector was using Dragon Beauty.
Because it dried down like a liquid lipstick.
It did. It was fabulous.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that with that one, I think it's the same thing. Nikita had went away for a while. And I think that she just kind of lost the passion for it. In my opinion, like that's what I gathered from it. Where it's like, I think that she saw it as like I'm a beauty guru. I have to create a makeup line.
Because she did do like more makeup-y stuff. When she came out with Dragon Beauty, she was more in the makeup world.
Exactly. And now that she like no longer is doing that and she kind of like left that behind, she I think essentially left Dragon with it.
Yeah.
Where that didn't come along with her in her next journey of life.
Do you think she'll bring it back?
I don't
think she will either.
I really don't. I think that when you have a brand, it's just very hard. It's very hard to do. And like if you don't have people helping you along the way, then like how is it gonna get done?
Yeah.
You know, if she's busy as hell, like I know I can get busy as hell. And if I didn't have like my parents helping me, like I don't know how I would be able to even get a lot of things I do with Lunar. I'm sure like you feel that with like Tyler and like your girls.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. So it's like how could you do that?
Man, I will say like even with my own brand, now that we're talking about brands, like even with Laura Los Angeles, it's so hard for me to create with them because we're creating so much with Minimum.
Exactly.
And putting so much money into Minimum. So, and time. Yeah.
How can you do both at the same time? It's like, it's freaking impossible.
Freaking impossible.
There's just no way. There's literally just no way. Next one.
KKW Beauty.
Oh, diva. So I feel like with KKW, I think that wasn't there issues with like the actual behind the scenes of KKW Beauty.
Yes.
It wasn't that it wasn't selling actually. It was that there was issues with like the ownership / like name potentially.
Yeah, so they had sold a percentage off to Cody, as did Kylie Cosmetics. And through the grapevine, this is alleged, but allegedly Kim and Kylie are trying to buy their brands back from Cody because they don't love what happened with them once they got in with Cody. I think Kim can sell anything she creates.
Me too. People, the thing is, like Kim was so known for also like the lipsticks, like with the lipsticks and the lip liners. Like people loved the KKW lipsticks and lip liners, and I think that that's something I still see to this day. That people are like, "Where is I miss those lip liners? I miss those things." So I think that it was doing well. I think that was actually more behind the scenes.
I do too. I don't think it was like we're not selling products.
I really don't. Think that
I didn't get that vibe from Kim's because I saw a lot of people using KKW.
Me too, like the under eye brightening powders.
And then she said we're rebranding. She didn't say we're shutting this brand down. She said we're rebranding, and then allegedly she's buying the brand back from Cody, and so is Kylie.
I wonder if it's ever going to come back. Like,
I know.
Do you think KKW Beauty will come back?
I feel like Skims did way more than she ever anticipated.
I made her way more money than KKW.
Oh, girl, I know. I think KKW is a drop, and KK Fragrance, I think they're both drops in the bucket compared to what Skims did for her.
Yep.
And like as a true entrepreneur, you have to go which way the wind blows. You do.
100%. That's just what the reality is.
She figured out what worked and she went that direction. Now, that's not to say it won't ever come back, but I think she's got the skin now. Kim's Skin and Skims. And so I think those are her two main priorities.
And she still has the fragrances, doesn't she? Are those gone?
KKW Fragrance. Last time I checked, like things were clearanced out on the website, and nothing new has launched.
So then that one is disappearing as well.
That one too.
But again, like you were saying, into entrepreneurial.
I think the website's gone. Let's see the Instagram. They took it down. They took it down. Look, there's 0 followers, and if you click the link to the website, it takes you to her skincare line. So that's gone too.
So maybe she. Oh, you know what? I think that the skincare line's Instagram took over.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. They just
Instagram
flipped it. So they just got rid of KKW Fragrance. Got it. So that's another one. So like, honestly, I feel like Kim's smart. That's how she's able to build her way up to where she's at. You go with what works. And
exactly. But you can try, you can keep spaghetti raw.
Yeah, she's tried multiple things. And it's like, it's not that I necessarily think that those brands were flops. I just don't, because the amount of people. Do you remember when Kim came out with a fragrance with her body?
Girl.
Everybody.
And you know the fragrances did slay. Like,
I know they did. And I think Skims is going to be like $1 billion brand. And so she's like, we're going that direction.
That we're
like
doing
we're not
skins.
spending all of our time with this other stuff.
Also, when you're busy like that, you know that she's like
You have to pick and choose.
You have to pick and choose. You can't like you can't use your time like that. Like that's not how it works.
And that's kind of like
You only have
low
so much
key
time in
how
a
I
day.
have felt with Laura Lee Los Angeles and Minim. Like,
Right.
you know, I've had Laura Lee Los Angeles since 2017 and it's done so great. Our collab killed it, did so great. And now I've put so much time in the middle. There's only so much you can possibly do.
Exactly. So right now the focus obviously is going to be on Minim when that's like where the projects are going and that's what you've been doing. So it's like, it's okay to be like, you know what, Laura Lee Los Angeles, chill for a sec.
Yeah.
Let me focus on fucking Minim right now and do my thing.
launching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's too hard to like be able to try to, because even with like the makeup line, you can still only do like what, 4 launches a year.
Yeah.
And even that is still like insane. So much time, so much energy, so much effort gets put into that.
Incredible.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And you have 2. I don't know how the fuck. And a podcast.
It's not good
and a full-time
vibes.
social media influencer.
It's not good vibes.
It's just not mentally well.
And our last one is just Morphe's bankruptcy, which we kind of talked about
Wait,
recently.
you know what? What about OCC?
Oh, you're right. We did add that. OCC, obsessive compulsive cosmetics.
Dude, I remember that shit.
The IMATS days.
IMATS days.
You would wait in line forever to get
the lip tars.
something.
The lip tar.
The lip tars.
They had lip liners and they had lip tars. And they had like other like products, but they were known for their liquid lipsticks. But their lipsticks did not dry matte.
They were so cool.
That's what they're known for. So OCC was like a very big like brand back in the day, and they were in Sephora's. I think
they were.
that it was being in a conglomerate like that
took them out. You think Sephora took them out?
I do.
I think
not saying Sephora like took them out,
well,
but I think
Sephora
that,
will
like,
crush you.
It will crush you
if you try to keep up with their demands and you're not able to do it. Like for instance, Sephora is going to ask for X, Y, and Z, and if you don't do that, you have to get out of Sephora. If you do it, it's a huge risk, and you could lose it all.
Financial risk.
And a lot of brands risk it all to stay in Sephora and try to make the dream come alive, and it's a risk, and a lot of times it doesn't pay out.
And so I think that I'm sure it's different now in comparison because OCC went out like years and years.
Do you know another brand that shut down too? Bite Beauty.
Holy shit!
Remember that?
Dude, and Bite had some iconic things.
Their lip products were bomb.
Like their lip, like the lip mask.
It was interesting.
Agave lip mask.
They did like this brand trip to New York with a couple influencers, and then it was like a month later they were like, "We're closing the brand."
Are the stores closed?
I don't know.
Because you know how they had like the Bite Beauty stores you can make.
Yeah, I think they closed everything.
Wait, Laura, look it up. I'm kind of curious. But Bite Beauty, another brand that was very big in Sephora, huge, had a lot of people that loved it. They had lipsticks. They were known to kind of be a brand that had like really good ingredients in like their lipsticks and really, really high quality, really, really well made. Just overall, very good.
It looks
quality.
like they're selling some of their stuff on Amazon now. And that might be, I think that might be them just getting rid of stuff still. Getting rid of product. But
I don't hear anything about Bite. That's one brand I definitely, like, I didn't even, I'm shocked even if I can remember that shit. Like, I have no idea. Do they even have a section in Sephora anymore? Probably not.
No.
I don't see them.
Look, Allure magazine in 2022, Bite Beauty is going out of business. Yeah, so it's just like
Bites is another one.
Yeah.
Bite bit the dust.
Their Instagram's gone, like all of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's another one. But yeah, I feel like it's hard when being a brand in Sephora, because the thing is, like, gondolas, for example, so expensive to be in, so intense, so hard. Like, they are so, you have to stock them. You have to pay for the returns when people are returning stuff. You have to pay for all that stuff.
If you return something to Sephora, that doesn't take anything out of Sephora's pocket. They just charge the brand at the end of the month for everything that was returned. That's why they allow returns the way that they do, because they're like, well, it's not our problem.
It's not coming out of our pocket. It's coming out of every brand's pocket.
Yeah, it comes out of the brand's
so
pocket.
that is just such a brutal, intense thing. Because the thing is, when you're a business that depends on, so many other things, if you're constantly getting stuff like that's returned, it's gonna really eat up at your pocket.
And they have a really loose return policy at Sephora. You can basically use a product for a while and then return it.
So it's like, people definitely abuse that system though.
Oh yeah, they don't care.
They
The only restriction I know Sephora has on it is like if you do certain thousands of dollars of returns, they stop you. Like if you can't return any more to them.
Got it.
But it's like once you've like returned thousands.
Yeah, because you've already returned thousands of dollars of fucking products. So
they put a stop to it.
Yeah, I think that for me, like that's what I think happened to OCC. I think that they were not getting like the marketing out of it, and like it wasn't becoming as successful, and they had to keep paying that money to Sephora, so they weren't able to keep up with the Joneses essentially.
Yep, and
like, that's tough, and it got them. It fucking got them. That's hard. So I think that's what it was. Because once OCC left Sephora, like it left fully.
Yeah,
because it wasn't like it was like, oh, we're leaving Sephora and now we're independent. Like I didn't see them anywhere. Go like online or anything like that. It was literally
I kind of
like,
forgot about them, and that's so interesting because I used to be so excited to wait in line at IMATS to get a crumb
for a tar,
and
for the lip liners.
tar.
Yes, and the lip liners. They were sickening.
They were major.
That's so gag to me.
Okay, I want to list out really quick,
when you did
like
your live.
a rapid
Let's talk
fire.
about like when you did your live.
I did my live.
And you said, guys, what do you think about this idea?
And they said they love it. So they also listed some brands that they feel is like way less relevant
than they used to be.
So I'm just gonna rapid fire shoot them out.
Okay, and say what it is.
Stila.
100%.
100%.
I'm gonna say like, and what we should do is like agree or disagree.
Yeah, agree or
we'll
disagree.
Say
Are they relevant or not?
Are they relevant or not? I think that they're not
Still,
relevant as they wants to be.
They came out with those metallic eyeshadow paints.
That was their grace.
And their liner.
That was their saving
grace. And then they never evolved from that. So Coastal Scents. I don't think that's a brand anymore. You remember them? I think it's another one that's gone.
That was very BH vibes.
Glam Glow. Oh, everybody used to use Glam Glow.
Glam Glow was the thing. I think they're still around.
They are, but not relevant. Do you remember everybody had to use Super Mud?
Maybe the Super Mud?
It's so good. I still use it.
I love the Thirsty Super Mud. I loved like that was like, when I would feel
I still
hydrated.
Like the classic. I still use it all the time when I have breakouts. It's a game changer.
I got burned so bad from it once that I never used it ever since.
Girl, it'll get you good.
It burned me once.
I'm obsessed with it.
Use it again.
But it's I don't even know if they're in Sephora anymore. But Estee Lauder bought them, and so
I mean they got their check.
Yeah. Motives.
Motives. I'm gagged.
Desi,
do you remember the Motives
I think
girlies?
Desi gave me that one.
Desi. I love it. Okay, do you remember when the Motives was like they would do Motives trips with like the Motives
that
girls?
was my first brand trip ever.
You're lying.
So the people who created shop.com, the wife created Motives, and they were like billionaires, okay? And so they have this mega yacht in Miami, and they worked with big, huge influencers, and they let all the big influencers pick one small influencer that they thought was gonna like blow up to come on the yacht, to come along. Miriam NYC picked me because she met me at Jen Gerard's house.
That's so fucking cute.
Yes, and that was my first.
Is that how you guys met?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Dude, what the fuck?
And
that is crazy.
She picked me and I went on the yacht, and it's like the craziest thing
Dude,
ever.
I remember going to fucking Jen's house and hanging out with you and other creators there too, with like Miriam, you, and other creators.
It was like the hangout spot. And when we got on the yacht, there's like pictures of the two owners, RIP to the husband because he passed away recently. I know. So sad. So sad because I know she was so in love with him. Like, but with all these celebrities, literally Fat Joe was there just walking around. The boat was like slam full of like people. It was crazy. It was so much fun. Is it even
a brand anymore?
I don't think so.
I think that one's gone, Diva.
Marc Jacobs. They're gone too.
They're gone. But the thing is, I think that they're coming back.
They're coming back, and I'm so excited because Marc Jacobs had some of our favorite products.
Marc Jacobs Beauty.
They killed it.
When they left us, I felt a hole. I felt a hole
in your ass.
In my hole.
Yeah.
And I was devastated because their bronzer.
Marc Jacobs.
I still use their bronzer.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Don't even get me started.
Their little eyeshadow palettes were also their liners. No, their eyeliners.
No, the eyeliners were the gel liners, the gel creams.
The best.
Insane.
They were the best liners.
The glosses, insane. Like the things that they did were incredible.
Cover Effects highlighter drops. I mean, Cover Effects
in general.
But do you remember their highlighter drops?
That was like the
so popular.
They were like the thing with Cover Effects. So I think that a lot of drag queens and people with like, because you want the you're thinking of
Dermablend. You're thinking of Dermablend. I'm
thinking about Dermablend
because the drops. But do you remember Cover Effects? You remember Cover Effects?
You guys, the Cover Effects powder used to be one of my favorite powders of all time. But what, like, they're still around, but I don't see them doing anything.
I ain't seen them in a long time.
Because Cover Effects didn't have the foundation drops, right?
No. That was the highlighter drops. Do you remember they even came out with like the blue ones and the purple ones?
That were actually glitter. They were glitter drops.
They were glitter.
Damn, dude. So wait, why do you think that they're gone?
I think they didn't evolve past their drops. I think their drops peaked them, and then they never were able to, which is hard to do. It's hard to do. Sigma Beauty.
I see the thing is, Sigma used to be huge.
They used to be the Morphe.
They used to be the Morphe. They were the Morphe. But the thing is, Sigma now they've like low key, they've like kind of rebranded. Now they have like makeup.
Oh, I feel like they're coming back.
I feel like they're coming back too.
I do too.
And the thing is, or like I feel like they're definitely more here.
They collab with Kristen
with the brushes,
and it was a really good brush.
The thing is, Sigma was so huge until Morphe came.
Yeah, I feel like Morphe just tore
like
them up.
wrecked Sigma low key back then, and now I think Sigma has like definitely come into their own in the way of like we have a full line and not just brushes.
Yeah,
but it was hard because they were expensive brushes. They were good quality. But in comparison to Morphe
so
ones,
expensive, and then Morphe's were like so
it was like
cheap.
MAC brushes, Sigma brushes, Morphe brushes.
And then they were all the same quality, pretty much.
Literally.
I mean, Morphe had a couple flops in there, but for the most part, you're paying
really good ones.
$3 for some brushes that I've used for 10 years.
Literally,
like,
I still have literally like some of the Morphe brushes I use all the time, and I'm like, girl, I've had this brush for 7 years, and I'm still using it,
and it's still going,
it's still working.
Every now and again, you'd get one with a loose hair or whatever, but when you pay $3, and then a majority of them I still use. So
Same.
crazy.
I use a ton. And like, you'll only have like you were saying a couple flops.
Yeah.
Like I remember once I like ripped some. I was like, I pulled it and all the hairs ripped out, and I was like, oh, what the fuck just happened? But that never really happens.
Lorac. You forgot about Lorac.
Are they with us?
I don't know if they're with us.
I don't. Oh my god, that is definitely again no. Like the relevancy is gone.
That's a shocker.
I don't get PR from them anymore, so that's why I think I'm like, oh, are they even with us? But they could be. I just don't see them posted. Lorac, damn, I'll miss Lorac. Yeah, their shadows were sickening.
Their shadows were really sickening. Their eyeshadows were sickening.
Oh, Violet Voss.
Yep, don't hear about them anymore either.
Are they still a thing?
I think they are, but I know they were in Sephora and like BoxyCharm doing their thing, and now they're not in there anymore.
Your iconic palette with them?
Literally. Violet Voss. The Balm. Do you remember the Balm with the Mary Lou?
They're still going.
Oh yeah.
Laura,
I know they just sent me PR.
Me too. And I was gagged, so I'm like, oh, I didn't know that they were still going.
I was like nostalgia when I got the box
Mary Lou.
It's the same products. Yeah. It's the same. They remind me of Benefit.
Yeah, but I feel like Benefit is more
evolved version
and better.
They're evolved.
And the Balm is so focused on their like old timey kind of packaging and that kind of like vibe. Their quality is really good. But I think that they definitely need to evolve.
What about Sugar Bear hair?
Is that here with us still?
I don't know.
I think that's gone. I think honestly, Sugar Bear, like the scandals that it's been in Sugar Bear hair wrecked them.
What about Melt Cosmetics?
Melt is still going, actually.
Melt is. They were in Sephora and they're not anymore, but they have really good products.
Dude. And they still keep launching. And they still have amazing stuff.
They're I have some of their eyeshadow palettes I've bought myself, and they're fantastic.
I honestly really live from. And then like I understand what they're saying, like not being as like relevant in the way of like not as popular and seen to the capacity of like oh well it's not in Sephora so it's not seen as much. But I still think that Melt definitely holds its own when it comes to like indie product.
And my last one, Smashbox.
Ooh. Also, I feel like has lost a lot of its luster.
They're not in Sephora anymore.
You're lying to me.
I don't think so.
What?
When you go there, there's no Smashbox booth.
I've only seen them at Ulta, actually.
Oh, maybe they just switched over to Ulta. They must have switched over to Ulta.
No, but I think that in general, Smashbox, because they are like kind of like the primer brand.
Yeah.
I think that it's really hard when you're known for one thing to kind of break out from that one thing.
But the problem is primers evolved. Like primers turned into serums, which was like the Charlotte Tilbury serum.
Yes.
And like
they had one.
Primers evolved. And so I feel like they tried to, because they did come out with a lot of different primers. They really did.
The redness,
like they tried, yes, for everything you need, but it just wasn't very this era. You know what I mean? It was still that era that they were coming out with. The packaging was like the same. You know, it didn't really evolve.
Do you know what it is? I feel like with them, like I feel like their brand identity is so different because it's really, you know, it was based off of Smashbox Studios, which is their literal like film studio, like it's a photography studio. And I think that because of that, like they're like, oh, we're gonna create a makeup line too to kind of go with the fact that they have a studio, but I don't think that's necessarily enough to keep you going forever.
That's what Milk did. But you know what I really think? At the end of the day, I don't think all these brands necessarily did something that was so wrong. Like, no, I don't. I think what happens is I think every brand, no matter what brand it is, unless you're like fucking Philadelphia cream cheese, I feel like especially in makeup, cosmetics, and a lot in skincare, to be honest, runs a course.
For sure.
No matter what you do, it runs a course and then it has its moment. And no matter how much you evolve, like eventually it kind of fizzles out. But that's not to say, you keep it going, and sometimes it comes back.
Of course.
Like supposedly MAC is supposed to be making a comeback.
Right. I think MAC will always have its staples.
Charlotte Tilbury came back. Charlotte Tilbury was popular, and then no one talked about it for a long,
and now it's all about
time.
Charlotte.
And now
Everyone's
it's everything.
All the time.
So I feel like brands like they cycle
Waves.
in and out, and then some, can't afford to keep going, and it just financially makes more sense to just like end it and not wait for a return.
I think a big part of it too is I think that indie brands having a huge portion in the spotlight now does take away a lot of the times from these big conglomerate kind of makeup lines, because it's like a lot of times I think that the indie brands keep a lot of the beauty industry afloat. I really do. I think a lot of times like a lot of people like to spend their money on the indie brands because it's more personable. They know like what kind of goes into it more than like, let's say a big conglomerate might. They see the person, like the indie brand owner. A lot of times you'll see who the brand owner is. Like, I think there's a lot more to it because I think that people are really into connecting with the brand and who the brand is and like why they want to choose that brand and like the brand owner and the brand story and the on top of already having to needing to have great packaging and great color stories and great quality. Yeah. I think now it's just above and beyond a little level more than that. It's the evolution of it, like getting to know the brand for who the brand is and the owners and the team, all that stuff. Right. So it's crazy. But anyways, that wraps up this episode. You guys have to, first of all, name more brands that we missed. We would, because of course we missed some, but like we would love to see brands what are brands that you guys have seen that have gone out? You're just kind of like, damn, I don't really hear about this anymore, but you remembered using them for a long time. Yeah. I would love to know that. And that's it. That is it. And that's it for today's episode. Obviously, you guys, is all of our opinion. Do not be mad if you love these brands and you're using them so constantly all the time. This is just like what we've seen in the beauty industry of like what we. You guys told us most of these, to be honest. Yeah, no, I was like that list that you just read off. That was from you guys. The live, but that's just like our like initial kind of first impression of, Well, our thoughts are upon the relevancy and the closing of a lot of these brands. Just our honest thoughts. But we love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. Yes, let us know if you can hit down below too. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. Bye guys. Mwah.